Hey, good morning, good afternoon, everybody. This is Hannah. I am here a little bit early, waiting for Job Search Live to start, and it's going to start at noon. So if anybody's here, just give me a shout out and let me know that you're here. I'd love to know. Say hi in the chat. That would be great. And we'll get started in a few minutes. I'm excited to talk about this week's Summary Sunday, and I'm going to put the link to it in the first comment box oop, so that you can have it. So if you didn't get it, if you didn't see it, that's this week's Summary Sunday in the comment box, so you can follow along if you want. Anybody here with me today? Got a couple minutes before we get started, so go ahead, say hi. Got a couple minutes. If you're here now joining me, this is Hannah Morgan. Hi. Um, we're going to doing Job Search Live here in a couple of minutes. I'd love to hear from you. So what I do on Job Search Live is I review the articles that were featured in this week's Summary Sunday, and I sort of explain why I think they're important. Hello, Suzanne. Nice to see you here. Thanks for being here. So we'll get started in about a minute. Oh, thanks. I hope you're having a great Monday too. It's really unseasonably warm here in upstate New York. Like yesterday it was in the 80s. Today it's probably going to be close to that, which is really fun. It's nice to have warm weather at the the end of September, beginning of October. Where are you, Suzanne? So in case you don't know, there's a lag. So it's usually a minute or so between, maybe it's just a few seconds. It feels like a minute between where I talk and I see your comment. So. Okay, so here we are. It is noon. It is Monday, September 28th. I am Hannah Morgan. Thank you all for being here for this week's Job Search Live. And every week I do this Job Search Live. It's really a chance for me to explain to you and highlight the articles that were in this week's Summary Sunday. If you didn't see this week's Summary Sunday, there is a link in the first comment that you can click on and follow along if you would like. This week's summary, oh, I didn't know you were in Rochester. Good to see you, Suzanne. So this week's Summary Sunday was called Change Your Mindset. And I think that one of the most important things that I shared in this week's Summary Sunday was this chart that came from Statisa, I never know how to say it, which shows the number of monthly job openings from 2019 to July 2020. And in case you don't realize this, so back in July and August of last year, the US economy had on average 7.2, 7.3, 7,000 jobs, I think it's thousands, of jobs posted monthly, okay? And maybe it's millions, I don't know. Jobs posted in millions. 7 million jobs, 7.24 million, 7.3 million jobs posted in the month of July and August 2019. Would you like to take a guess as to how many jobs were posted in the month of July 2020? We dropped in April to only 5 million. We are now up to, in the US, 6.62 million jobs posted in the month of July. Probably about the same number for August, though those numbers haven't been released yet officially. So, for all of you that are complaining there aren't any jobs available, we're down 1 million jobs. That's not that many in the scheme of things. It's way better than it was in April. So, I just want to remind you that we're not, the economy, the number of jobs that are available is not as bad as people are playing it, and it's not as bad as you think. You haven't had to look for a job in a while, my belief is. And so, therefore, of course, you're going to be discouraged that you can't see jobs that sound just like the one you left. Those jobs don't exist anymore. They're called something different. And oh, by the way, you don't want the job you just left. You want something better. And so part of this is changing your mindset from a glass half full to from a glass half empty to a glass half full. This economy is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. And actually, the benefit to you as a job seeker is that more and more employers are open to the idea of hiring remote workers. What does that mean for you? It means that you could potentially work anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world, which opens up the scope of jobs that you could potentially apply for too. So what's the boo-hoo there aren't any jobs? There are absolutely jobs. You aren't finding them because you aren't looking in the right places. And they're not posted on job boards. Ta-da! Right? They are posted in secret spots, right? Or they're not posted at all because the company doesn't want to be inundated with applications. So it's really about having conversations with people you know. So do me a favor, because one of the articles this week is about negative self-talk and changing negative self-talk to positive self-talk. I want every single one of you right now to say out loud with me the following. I repeat my name. I, Hannah, believe know that I will get a job, and yes, Hannah, I can network. Yes, Hannah, I can network. Yes, Hannah, I can network. I want to hear you say that. Yes, your name, I can network. Because that's positive self-talk. This is what I hear in almost every conversation, every news feed, every stream that I ever watch. I'm an introvert. I'm no good at networking. I don't like to network. Well, that then is the frame that you are looking at networking through. You need to shift that positive self-talk. Yes, Hannah, I can network. Yes, Hannah, you can network. You can network and you can do it as well as anybody because networking is not talking to strangers. Networking is talking to your existing base of people you know and then growing that. So, yes, you can do this. I know you can. People do it every day. So that is the article that I'm talking about with this positive self-talk is called The Voice of Reason. And it's a very psychology dense article. It's called The Voice of Reason in this week's Summary Sunday. And I want you to read it because the data proves that when you go around saying, I can't network, there are no jobs available, no one's going to ever hire me, I'm not good at this, all of those awful things get stuck in your brain and they prevent you from moving forward. So you need to eliminate that and replace it with a positive, affirmative self-talk. I don't know if any of you remember Stuart Smalley back on Saturday Night Live in that skit, but he would, if you do remember it, let me know because it was a great skit and it was goofy and it was funny. And he would look in the mirror every morning and say, I'm handsome and gosh darn it, people like me. Right? And that is a corny way of thinking about this, but it actually has been proven, according to this article in Psychology Today, it works. So I need you to do it. The other thing that I think people, especially people new to job search, don't spend enough time doing is to really get in touch with what your purpose is. And so that was the very first article that I shared in this week's Summary Sunday. It was called Knowing Your Purpose is Key to Being Fulfilled and Happy at Work. Here's how to find it in just a few steps. So yes, there are a few steps, and no, they are not easy. But one of the things that Laura writes about in this article, and one of the things that we've been looking at, we these world of career experts have been looking at, is that when you align your purpose with what you end up doing, you will be happier. Um, and so I think all too often we think, oh, I just need to get a job that pays the benefits, or I just need a good paying job, or I just need a stable job. All of that is setting you up for unhappiness. You need to take the time and go through these steps in knowing your purpose. And then you really can pursue with a lot more enthusiasm the kinds of jobs that will actually bring you that kind of happiness. Hey Rosa, how are you? Oh my gosh, you cracked me up. Okay, so then the other article that I talked about was written by Ed Hahn on jobhunt.org, which is Susan Joyce's phenomenal website. If you don't already subscribe to jobhunt.org, and it's job hat uh, hyphen hunt.org. If you don't already subscribe to that and you are in job search mode, you need to do that first step first, because Susan has a whole cadre of job search experts that have different areas of expertise, some on networking, some on social media. Ed Hahn is one of her LinkedIn experts, interviewing experts. She has all of these experts and she's got the voice of a recruiter, so she's a guy who does recruiting for a living. So she's got all of these voices, and these people contribute their articles on a regular basis. So you're always getting great content, and it's always fresh. So please, please, please promise me, go to this article that I linked to, and at the very bottom of every article, subscribe to our newsletter, add your name and your email. I promise you, she will not spam you. She will not send you junk. She only sends educational content to help job seekers. That is her mission. That is what she does. So Ed Hahn is a recruiter himself, and he was in job search a few years ago, and he realized, shoot, there are a lot of steps to this job search process, and let me help make it easier for people. And so he's been writing for Susan for a while, and he has great information on how to use LinkedIn. So please, please, please read that article, because his article is about how to use status updates, or how to leverage LinkedIn posts for your job search. One of the things that we know is that it's not enough. You know this too. I know you know this. It's not enough just to have a LinkedIn profile. If you are, especially if you're in job search mode, but the people who get the most from LinkedIn are the ones who put the most effort into it. So just having a LinkedIn profile with your work history, like an online resume, isn't enough. You want to share posts, comment on posts, create your own posts, and engage with people. Comment. Don't just thumbs up or like or give one of those icons. That's not enough to show engagement. You really want to have conversations. And Ed walks through some of the technical ways, what you need to do that. And he gives some examples and explains why um, using posts on LinkedIn is a really great way. For all of you that are introverts, let me just tell you, I'm an introvert too, and I will never use that as an excuse, but even me as an introvert, can leave comments on LinkedIn, and any social media for that matter, because I do it in my own time, so I have time to think about it. And it's not like I'm having a conversation with somebody, though I technically am. I'm just commenting on what they shared, and I'm adding my 2 cents, or whatever I'm doing in the comment, congratulating them on writing an excellent article or whatever. But so even introverts can use social media to engage people in conversation. And it's a very low stress way of doing it, because when the other person responds and leaves a comment, you can respond at your own free after you've had time to think about it. It's not like walking into a room and having to think of, what am I going to use for small talk, right? Which I know a lot of introverts don't like. A lot of people don't like that, not even just introverts. So that was that was Ed Hahn's article, How to Leverage LinkedIn Posts. There were, and so the next article, I don't know if any of you have been logged into LinkedIn today. Show of hands, or let me know if you now have seen LinkedIn stories. When you go to, and it's actually only visible on your iPhone app, or on your phone. But oh, how do I do this? So at the very top there on my mobile device, I have an Android. Oh, you can see that the stories are at the top. Well, no, that's not what I do. So you can scooch over and see all these different people that are leaving stories. Now, stories are new to LinkedIn, and LinkedIn is just starting to roll them out, so everybody doesn't have them. But if you do have stories, let me know. Tell me in a comment that you've got stories, because all the other platforms already use stories. We use them on Facebook. People they use them on Instagram. So stories are already a thing. The trick is, and what everybody's trying to figure out now is how do I use stories to get my message out and what is my message? So they're really about asking people for engagement, asking a question, because you can leave once you find somebody's story, you can leave a message at the bottom. You can leave a message at the bottom. Oh, that was a good way of seeing it. You can leave a message at the bottom. Um, and that person will see their messages in their LinkedIn message box. So it's a great way to engage with the person who posts a story because they're sure to see your message. It doesn't just show up in a comment, it actually shows up in their messages on LinkedIn. So I'd be really interested who has stories. Um, does anyone have stories? Okay, I'm not hearing anything. So I'm going to assume that there are only a handful of people here watching it now, but if you come back and watch this replay later, please tell me that you whether you've got stories or not and what you like about them, what you don't like about them. Some people don't like video, and I think that that's a generational thing. Older people don't tend to see the value in stories, and sometimes they're video, so that's a double whammy. I don't like stories and I don't like video, but they're a great way to get attention because it appears at the top of the person's profile, at the top of your screen when you log into the mobile app. So I would be looking at, ways you can do that. And don't here, if you're a job seeker, don't be saying, "Hey, I'm looking for work. Anybody know anything?" Focus in on a topic that is relevant to the hiring managers that you might be meeting with or want to meet with, the target companies that you're interested in. So let's just say that you always wanted to work at Constellation Brands. What is Constellation Brands doing right now that you can comment on or that a hiring manager might be interested in knowing about? It could be something about the spirits industry, the wine and beverage spirits industry. It could be something about, I haven't been following their news, so I don't know what else is trending in their world. But you may be asking questions about, okay, what companies are still working remotely and what does that look like in the future? Are more companies talking about perhaps requiring their employees to go back to work after the first of the year? Or when that could be a great question. Is your company thinking about bringing people back into the office? I'd be curious to know because then you can look and see people from who's saying yes and who's saying no, and then go see what answers, what companies they work for, so they can help you figure out what companies might be better targets. Just an idea there. Sort of ask the question and then use the data to help you make informed decisions for your job search. But you don't have to say it's a job search question because it's relevant to anybody, actually, right? We all want to know, is my company going to open back up? Am I going to be forced to go back to work? So that was the article that addressed the new layout and features. LinkedIn, every once in a while, and more often than not, rolls out these new features, and they don't tell us what the new features are until after they've happened, or sometimes not at all. So the article I shared by Jen's Trends walks you through all the different changes that LinkedIn is making to the layout and their features. The thing you should also know is that we don't all get them at the same time. So if you don't have some of the new features or you don't have the new layout, it's coming. Just wait your turn and you can, begin thinking about what changes you might make based on that. So that was one of the articles that I love sharing. And then LinkedIn, every once in a while, they do have a good article on there in their official LinkedIn blog. And this one was written by about it's called Four Group Conversation Starters to Bring Your Community Together. Because LinkedIn realizes, okay, this platform is so much more valuable when people are active and engaged. And so what they write about are four different conversation starters that you can use to get your group to engage with what you're posting. I know that in the past, one of the things that we've always been frustrated about or concerned over is what do I post? Read this article, four group conversation starters to bring your community together, and I bet you will get some ideas there on what you can post to gain engagement and get people to respond to what you post on LinkedIn. So try that and let me know how that works. Ah, I love this. The next article is on interviewing how to totally nail why should I hire you. I don't even want to spoil it. I want you to read it, but there's a very simple formula that this the author uses, and he gives credit to somebody else who he got it from. It's a sales tactic, and he talks and he walks through. These are the three questions. These are the three parts to your answer when you answer why should I hire you, and why he recommends using those as the three step formula to answering that question. You will be asked, why should I hire you? Or some version of that. And I think it's really, really important that you think about that answer before you go to each and every job interview. How am I going to answer, why should I hire you? Because the answer is different for every job you go to, because every job and every company is looking for something a little bit different from you. And you need to make sure that you know what those differences are so that you highlight the right stuff. So totally nail that why should I hire you question, okay? The next, I don't know if any of you had seen the conversation I had with Sabrina Woods and Bob McIntosh and Jim Peacock, but we talked about how to write your LinkedIn About section. Thank you to Jim Peacock. Shout out to Jim for inviting us all to be a part of that group discussion. And I think what's so great about this discussion is we're all coming from a slightly different angle, and we all sort of add value to one another's information. So it's not just four radically different ideas, they sort of build on each other. So if you haven't seen that, I think it's a 40-minute, maybe it's a 50-minute conversation between all of us. It's definitely worth watching. And then the last thing that I will share is that interview questions that shouldn't stump you. I'm regularly updating the content on my blog, and I just want to make sure that you don't miss it. Um, Often I have conversations with people and I do mock interviews with people, and I'm always surprised that some people say, "Oh, that question caught me off guard," or "I don't like answering this question, so therefore I don't do a good job answering it." Well, the, those are two really good obstacles, but you need to overcome them in order to be better at interviewing. So that is that post. I just a link to interview questions that shouldn't stump you. Um, Yes, so Gladys, I'm now coming back because I've finished running through the articles that I thought were important and why I thought they were important and the importance of having sort of this new mindset. And now I'm seeing the comments. So I'm glad that you see it on your phone, Gladys. I'll be even more interested to see if you end up doing anything with it. Sometimes LinkedIn will have a daily prompt to get people all sort of using the same kind of story. You could use that to get started. And we're not sure exactly why we see the different stories at the top. It's a LinkedIn algorithm, but it's just one more way for you to remain visible or to become visible in front of your network. So if you are thinking, okay, I've been doing posts and no one's really responding, maybe try using LinkedIn stories. It's and Bobby, this is only you're asking if it's on the LinkedIn app or it's only available on the LinkedIn mobile app. Only on the app. It's not on the desktop version. So that's the only place that you can see. The 40-minute discussion that I had about the LinkedIn, it is in there, and I'll tell you which one it is. It is under did you see this? It's near the bottom. It's called, oh, well, I'll put a link in there for you. This is to his blog post, but to Jim uh, Peake's blog post, but it's still there. So you go to his blog post, which I just posted in there, and then has he embedded it? No, you just click on the video. I think you click on the video link. Oh, that's. Uh, I am trying to figure this out because I'm not seeing it either. I know it's on his YouTube channel, so let me just see, figure out why it's not coming up with that. Okay, I'll find it on YouTube and I'll put that in there. Um, any other questions, thoughts, challenges that you're facing in the job search? Tell me what's going on with you this week. Are you ready for a good week? Ask away, ask your questions. Okay, so this is the YouTube video of the four of us having the conversation, which I somehow couldn't seem to find in his article. So there you go. Tell me, this is your chance. I want to help. Tell me what your challenge is this week. Is it time management? And I hope you all know that this week, is it tomorrow? Tomorrow I'm having a free webinar, Laid Off and Looking. So if you haven't already registered for that, you need to go to Zoom and do that so that you can actually get the invite to connect. So it is tomorrow, Tuesday, September 29th from 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern. And I am also throwing that link in here. I know some people may have indicated either on LinkedIn event or on a Facebook event that they're going to attend, but you need to register on the Zoom website here, the meeting registration. So if you haven't entered your email address, your first and last name and your email address, then you're not registered. So make sure that you do that with the link that I just put in there. That's tomorrow at noon. And then on Wednesday, actually, I've got another free webinar that is available through the Macedon Library. They're doing that through Zoom. And it's called Job Search in the Wake of COVID, What You Need to Do Now. And I don't know if I have the link to that, but I think it was in the email that I sent. So that is what I've got for this week. Any other questions that you all have? Great, Bobby. I'm glad you're registered. Awesome. Thank you for helping with that, Gladys. I didn't know that that's where it was. So good. Um, anything else that you all have for this week? Questions, thoughts, concerns? I'm really excited about tomorrow's webinar because it's all about managing, like creating a schedule of the most important things you need to do, right? And so I'm just going to be talking about all those really important things and how to manage your time and how to get this done. So great. Thanks, Gladys. Thank you for letting me know. I was reading the other one, so job search in the wake of COVID. If you get my newsletter, the link was in there. Let me see if I can find it. It's through the Macedon Library, and that's also free. That's Wednesday at 2 o'clock. And I'm gonna go try and find that right now. But if you don't get my newsletter, like then you're not getting my summary Sunday and my updates on what's going on. So, um, I don't want you to miss that. So sign up for my newsletter on my website. I'm going to find the link to the Macedon Library. Um, I hope I'm going to find that. Well, while I'm waiting to do that, if you guys have any questions, let me know. Oh, here it is. It will take you to a Google, the Macedon Library has registration on a Google Doc sign up form. So let me put that in. The link that I'm putting in there now, the Google Doc, that is for the registration for job search in the wake of COVID, what you need to do right now, or something like that. What you need to do. So we'll talk about what you need for a job search, how to stay motivated, and why LinkedIn is more important than your resume. So that's what I'm going to be talking about in the Macedon Library one on Wednesday at 2 p.m., 2 to 3. Okay? So that is it for this week's Motivation or Job Search Live. I want to thank you all for being here. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, everybody. Bobby and Rose, it was fun seeing you. Hey, Kelly, um, and Gladys. So good. And Suzanne, thank you all for being here this morning, this afternoon. Good luck. Have a great week. Okay? Take care. Bye.